everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review, and today we're going to take a look at the final figure in DC Collectibles' new DC Comics Designer Series Greg Capullo series of figures with Talon. We looked at the Riddler yesterday, and Nightwing the day before that, and Batman last week. So this is the final figure in the series for the first wave. And like with the other figures, this figure comes packaged in your standard window box packaging. You've got white and brown highlights with this one. You've got the name of the character, and it's designated as figure 2 in the series. You have a window on the side so you can see the figure from the side. And then on the other side you have a picture of the Talon character, and then again the name and everything underneath that. The picture is drawn by Greg Capullo. And then on the back we have a look at all 4 figures in the wave, and it tells us this figure, like all of the figures in this first wave, were sculpted by Jonathan Matthews. Okay, so let's get the figure open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging. Now, right off the bat, I've got to be frank with you and tell you that I really don't know a whole lot about this character. I believe he originates in a storyline from the Batman comics called Night of Owls, and I know it's kind of, this guy's related to like this kind of cult of assassins who, you know, I guess dress like owls or something. I don't know if this is a specific character or if the Talons are just members of this cult and they all dress in this kind of costume and everything. But the figure itself is very detailed, has a lot of accessories, has the most accessories of any of the figures in this designer series so far, and except for the head, has a lot of articulation as well. So the head's sculpted with this, I guess, owl type mask. Now it's kind of like a hood, and so the way it's sculpted, there's actually no neck articulation with this figure at all. You can't move the head at all, which is a little disappointing, and we'll go into more details on the articulation in just a moment. But because of the way the head is sculpted with like the hood and everything, it's got nice detail. I like the goggles and everything that are sculpted on there, but there is no movement with the head. Now he has this belt that's also sculpted, this bandolier belt that's sculpted around his chest area. It is not removable. It is a separate piece, sorta, but it's like glued onto the figure, so the belt itself is not removable. However, he has these blades sticking in these little pockets on his bandolier, and those are removable. All of them are removable. So you can pull those out, and you can actually hold them if you want. They even have a little bit of, not a whole lot of detail. They've got like a little yellow thing on the one side, so I guess you can tell which is the front and which is the back. And they're very tiny, but he can hold them in the hand, sorta. If you get it kind of like in between his thumb and his finger, he will hold them to a certain extent. And again, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, and all 6 are removable. So we'll just stick that back in. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. And then he's got a sheath on his side, and it has a knife that you can take out. He comes with 2 knives. Now he only has 1 sheath, so 1 knife, and here's the second knife, and they're basically the same knife, but he can hold both knives in his hands, but he doesn't have a place to store both knives, so if you don't have him holding the knives, then you have to set the 1 knife off to the side. He's also got 2 sheaths on his back for his swords, and the swords are removable. And again, the swords are basically the same. The sheaths are not removable on the back, though. He also comes with this owl mask. This is, I think, like people in this owl cult that he belongs to wear. It doesn't fit on his face. It doesn't really fit on anyone's face. It's just a mask as an added accessory. And it's basically all white. And again, it's made to look like an owl. The figure's got the sculpted on the one arm, on his left arm, this owl-like guard on his wrist, which is nice looking. And then on the other arm, he's got like spikes, I guess that maybe shoot out or you can pull out or whatever, sculpted on the side. So this guy's definitely loaded to bear with all kinds of blades and everything. So from the front, this figure stands at just about just under 7 inches tall. He's about the same height as the Capullo Batman. Now you can see that the way the head is sculpted, it kind of has a point in the back that goes up a little higher. So if you measure from there, he stands at just about 7 inches tall. But again, he's basically about the same height as the Capullo Batman and Nightwing in this series. So for articulation, other than the head, he's probably the most articulated figure in this first wave. Pretty close to on par with Batman, but again, he has no head articulation. That is the one drawback this figure has, is he has no head articulation at all. But the arms are attached with your standard ball hinge joints. He's got good rotation. He can get his arm out all the way. He's got the bicep swivel. He's got the single hinged elbows, just like the other figures in the wave, but he does have pretty good bending at the elbow. He's got the swivel at the bottom of the glove, and then he's got the swivel at the wrist, and then he also has a hinge on the wrist, so he has that up and down movement with the wrist. He's got an ab crunch joint, and it's not really prohibited by the bandolier or anything, which is good. So he's got pretty good crunch movement and then a little bit back movement. He's also got a swivel at the waist. This figure probably can do the splits the best of any of the figures in the wave. He can't get it all the way out, the legs all the way out, but he does have a little bit more movement there in the crotch area than the other figures, even Batman in this series. He's also got the thigh swivel. He's got the double jointed knees. He's got the swivel at the top of the boot, and then he's got the swivel at the ankle, and he's got the hinge at the ankle, so he's got up and down movement just like the other figures in the wave. And then he's got one peg hole at the bottom of his feet. You can see the treads are sculpted on the bottom as well. So that's my review. Overall, this is a pretty cool figure. Again, I don't really know a whole lot about this character. I've not read the storyline with him, but he seems like a pretty cool character. Definitely chocked full of blades and weapons and stuff. The most accessories in the line. Articulation, except for the head, is really good as well. And because he's got such good articulation on the rest of the body, the head it's not horrid that he doesn't have any, because he's got like the waist swivel and things like that. You can still get him in pretty good poses and everything, even though he doesn't have any head articulation. And again, you can, when you look at the mask and see how it's sculpted, you can see why they didn't give him any kind of head articulation on this figure. But other than that, I think this is a really solid figure, and a really, pretty badass looking character. I don't know, I don't think this guy has any relation to like the crime syndicate Owlman, but just for reference, two owl guys, standing together, here they are together. So that's my review. I hope you enjoy it, and until next time, I'll check you later.